Retired Lieutenant General William Boykin, he's former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence under Bush 43 and Executive Vice President of the Family Research Council. It's great to have you here, General. Let me ask you,
thank you.
Because there's so many moving parts in this region. We were just talking about China. Of course, we know that the South Koreans are very keen to get this done. Japan, anxious and coming to see the president next Tuesday in advance of the summit. And then you've got what's going on in the South China Sea and India. From your perspective as laymen, viewers like me watching all of this, what are you looking at to determine what's the most important thing to be focused on?
Well, first of all, I think we have to focus on China. I think China's a key player in this whole thing, and I think that China has tremendous influence over Kim. I also agree with the CIA assessment that it is unlikely that Kim has made a decision to give up his nuclear program. I think what's going to be important here is that we come out of this with some general, broad framework for a denuclearization. And I don't think that that is something that is going to happen in just a matter of a few hours of negotiations. I think this is going to be an iterative process, and we'll see more meetings in the future to try and work out a real agreement.
Yes, Brett Baer and I were talking yesterday on this program that we can't all expect that on June 12th everything will be magically solved. It might just be a chance to figure out where everybody is and to stake out those positions. You mentioned that CIA report. I have a piece of it here, NBC News reporting this, that the CIA has found Kim doesn't plan on giving up nukes anytime soon. He may open a Western hamburger franchise in Pyongyang and may offer other limited American investment, and there are no initial demands from the regime for U.S. troops to withdraw from South Korea. That all might be true, but also isn't it the case, General, that we just have such little information and insight into North Korea? We might have a lot more given the last 6 months and this interaction, the interaction that the administration is having with North Korea, including just today. We expect Secretary Pompeo will be meeting with the North Korean official here in New York City.
Yeah. Look, North Korea is a black hole. It's very difficult for our intelligence community to do the collection that they would do in other parts of the world. While we may have signals intelligence and photographic intelligence, the key thing that we need in there is human intelligence to know not only where things are and what the real capabilities are, but to know the intentions of the North Korean leadership, and that's a very difficult proposition. I think that Donald Trump has played his hand very, very well in terms of getting us to this point. Just sitting down and having a discussion face-to-face directly between our president and their premier, I think is a major step forward. But as we just said, don't expect this to mean that we're going to come out with some denuclearization agreement after one session.
Well, we've talked a little bit about China with you today. I agree that the threat from China on all different points are very strong, from the tariffs that the president just announced yesterday, that we're looking at an additional $50 billion in tariffs, the Chinese being very frustrated with that, saying that's not what you said just a month ago. And then this, I wanted to get your take on it. Apparently, China has conducted about 200 lab tests over a span of 3 years, starting in September of 2014. The U.S. carrying out a total of 50 over a 5-year span starting in 2012. And these kind of tests are basically in a nuclear program that simulate what it would be like to have a nuclear blast. Now, what does that tell you about China's intentions here? We might deal with a North Korean issue and then possibly have a Chinese one?
Yeah, you know, you could say that that is bluster. You could say that it's the Chinese trying to send us a message. If it were not for the fact that they are militarizing in powerful ways. You talked about their new aircraft carrier. Well, one thing everybody needs to understand is an aircraft carrier makes them an expeditionary force. It's no longer about defending the homeland. It's no longer about defending the South China Sea. It makes them an expeditionary force. They can project power to other parts of the world. And by the way, this is the largest, most sophisticated aircraft carrier in the world probably. But it's going to take them a long time to learn how to actually operate that.
Well, there's a lot to pick on here. There's so much, and we appreciate your attention to all these details, and we'll be checking back in with you. Lieutenant General William Boykin, thank you.
Thank you.